I think the United States of America is extraordinary. It's a country that truly tries to make the promise of a multi-ethnic democracy that is inclusive and for all people true. It wasn't always the case, but we've made that journey and we'll continue to make that journey, and we'll, of course, in many ways reach a new height on that journey when President-elect Barack Obama is sworn in on Tuesday.
Congratulations, Barack! Howdy, neighbor. I've been studying up on Condoleezza Rice, reading some books, articles, because I saw her showing up on Drudge's front page as a front runner for Romney's vice presidential candidate. I think it's a ruse, though. I will be very surprised if he chooses her. I think it's just a campaign distraction. But it brings up some issues because Romney needs some help. Let's face it, he couldn't buy a personality. He's not someone you fall in love with. So when I first saw Condi's name on the Drudge Report as a front runner for the VP slot for Romney, I thought, hey, this would shake things up a little bit, make the campaign a little bit more interesting than Mitt Romney. Because we got a woman, attract the female population to vote for him. She's black, although I don't know how many blacks that would attract, but she's got a great story, and she's been around. A lot of people like her. She's popular. But she's a neocon. Romney needs a conservative. We couldn't get a conservative as our GOP nominee, so at least throw us a bone. Condi is the baggage from the Bush administration is just way too much. The way she handled herself as Secretary of State, she got us into the Iraq War, and she was too naive. She thought somehow with her evangelical democratic hegemony that she was going to bless the world, the Arab world, with democracy. Her first job with Bush was National Security Advisor, and then he made her in his second term Secretary of State, and she mostly knew about European stuff, you know, and she studied Soviet. She was an expert in Sovietology. But she didn't know anything about the Middle East, Arab countries. If you don't read Pat Buchanan, then you don't understand what a true conservative is. Let me read to you what Pat Buchanan said December 5th, 2006. This guy was prescient. I mean, Patrick Buchanan defines true conservatism. He's quoting Condoleezza Rice. For 60 years, my country, the United States, pursued stability at the expense of democracy in the Middle East. And we achieved neither. Now we are taking a different course. We are supporting the democratic aspirations of all the people. Then this is Pat's response. Since then, this is in 2006, those elections that Rice demanded have advanced toward or into power the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, Hamas in Palestine, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the radical Shia in Iraq, and Ahmadinejad in Iran. I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired of being the sheriff of the world. So many lives lost in Afghanistan, in Iraq. Iraq was an unnecessary war. Condi Rice screwed up a whole bunch of stuff as Secretary of State. Had some chances with North Korea and Iran to make some inroads in conversation and blew it. There are some people who think that we need to spread democracy with armed force around the world. I'm not one of them. And putting somebody like Condoleezza Rice in as VP, she's going to get the ear of Romney the same way that she had the ear of Bush, who was as naive as she was about foreign policy. I mean, Bush Sr. wouldn't have done that. Reagan would not have invaded Iraq. Conservatives say, let's take care of ourselves. There are enough problems here for us to deal with. This is a care package for my son, who's a lieutenant in the Army in Afghanistan, and we're very proud of him, and I'm very proud of all who serve in the military. I'm not proud of those who put us in places that we don't need to be. And I want the GOP to go back to Reagan roots. Reagan said at the end of his term, one of the last things he said as he was walking out of his office, the Oval Office, was, I made a mistake by going into Lebanon. We are making a mistake by trying to solve the Middle East problem. We can't do it. It's very difficult for many people to understand the difference between true conservatives and neoconservatives. It's this simple. Neoconservatives want to spread democracy by hook or crook or war. True conservatives follow the Founding Fathers' admonition to not get entangled in foreign affairs. I do support Israel as a democratic nation, and yet that is not an excuse for us to get involved in the conflicts that they are having. I mean, that is a morass that will never be solved by us. As Patrick Buchanan says, and he said during his 2 campaigns for the presidency, and I supported him as part of the original Buchanan Brigade, Washington GOP is full of neoconservatives. They are the war party. That's what he calls them. That's who they are. I don't want no more war. And I don't want to spend this campaign time debating old Bush policies that failed. Even though Bush was a better president by far than tyrant Obama. Let's not dredge up all this stuff by having Condi Rice in there as vice president. Plus, Romney promised that he would not put a pro-abortion person in as his VP, even though he himself has flip-flopped. And Condi Rice is a self-identified pro-abortionist. Look, Mitt, many of us are sacrificing some ideals that we have just to vote for you. Don't make it harder by putting another neocon in there, and let's just kick Obama's ass out of office.